Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Yeah, there's some aspiring and current business analysts here. So not to waste anybody's time, let's move on. My name is Ayo and I'm the founder of Tips and Joy. I share responses to interview questions as well as interview and career tips. I work as a project manager and a scrum master, and I also have a YouTube channel where I share more about scrum. And if you need early access to my content, don't forget to subscribe. The link is in my bio. Over to Miss Pragmatic. I know you've won like 1 million awards in like the past week. I just was saying different different things, but congratulations, well done. You're inspiring
Thank you.
so many people. So over to you just for an introduction. Yeah.
Sure. My name is Eno Eka. I am the founder of the Business Analysis School and the CEO of Any Consulting Incorporated. I run a digital technology consulting company here in Canada where we support businesses with business analysis, project management, full scale technology consulting, recruitment, placing, corporate training. And then with the Business Analysis School, we support professionals with career development. Specifically helping them move into tech through non-technical roles such as business analysis, agile project management, scrum, product ownership, and product management. I live in Calgary, Alberta. I moved to Canada in 2018. And in the last 4 years, I have been able to leverage my skills and experience to work as a business analyst, build a career in business analysis, build a business and an educational company that is supporting other professionals to do the same.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Well done. Yeah, I see, lots of your posts and, winning awards as well as training people, which is really, really good because I know that many people want to get into business analysis. So that's really, really good. How did it all start? Like, before you came here, were you thinking of business analysis already? But like, what's the background? So how did you get into business analysis? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The background. Before I moved to Canada, I was already a business analyst. So my background is accounting. I studied accounting in university. And when I graduated, I started working as an accountant. So I worked different industries as an accountant, but I just kind of got bored and you're doing the same thing over and over again. Like there's nothing new you have to do as an accountant. So I was looking for more in my career, really. And I've always been interested in tech and just seeing how, the tech field was growing and how, everything was, getting automated. I started doing some research and asking questions, but I found that I love to be involved in the projects where I was working with, project managers and project teams as their project controller slash, accountant. And I enjoyed that. So I went to take a project management training. I did that. And then I was working with my colleagues. They said, you would make a very good business analyst. Like you just have the skills, the charisma. And I'm like, business analysis, what's that? So I started researching it.
Okay.
Found out about the IIBA, found some, training centers in Lagos. So I went to take the training as well for business analysis. And I loved it. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I am doing. Like I could relate with everything that I was being taught in that class. And reading the business analysis body of knowledge, I'm like, okay, this is the career path for me. At that point, I was sort of struggling with, should I get, chartered or certified as an accountant? Should I be a CPA? There were so many, conflicting thoughts in my head. People said, oh, get an MBA, get a master's, many things. But I honestly just wanted to change career paths. And so it wasn't the most popular path, especially in Nigeria at that time. People were like, what are you doing? What's business analysis?
Yeah.
Even my parents were like, this is a very risky move. I'm like, you know what? It might not be popular right now, but I don't know, some way, somehow, if it's already popular in the Western world, somehow, companies will start to adopt business analysis. So I went ahead, got certified, and then, started, looking into the career, found an opportunity within my organization, started getting other roles as well because I became more active on LinkedIn at that time. So I was already a business analyst, and then when I came to Canada, I'm like, okay, I am in the right path because there was such a huge demand and, companies really appreciated what business analysts do. And I really, truly found, joy practicing business analysis in Canada.
Oh, wow. That's good to hear. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, please put it in the question box. It's on the right-hand corner. so that it doesn't get lost in the conversation. But that's really, really good to hear, because you know what? Even in Nigeria, I didn't really know what business analysis, like I didn't know the role existed, like a business analyst. It's really, really good to hear that. So most of the questions people have as regards transitioning to like being a business analyst, like what you said, do you need a certification? What do you need to do? For example, I personally, during my master's, I got an internship as a business analyst. I didn't have any certification, but that was back in like 2017 or so. And things are really different now, because back then it was all about requirement gathering. But when I hear people talk about business analysts now, I'm hearing API, I'm hearing SQL, I'm like, what's happening here? So what do people actually need to transition to business analysis right now? Yeah, in this day.
I mean, there are lots of steps that, and that would depend on where you are in your career.
Okay.
The first thing is really having that mindset, right? That mindset of value, problem solving, because as a business analyst, what you do is basically understanding the needs and trying to define what that change would be, what the solution to that need would be, working with the stakeholders to get it done. So you're not the one that's actually going to create it, but you would lead that change.
True.
So that's what a business analyst does. And, understanding, having that mindset that you're here to provide value and solve problems, that's the first step, really. And then leveraging your experience and skills. I tell people this all the time. You don't need to have a specialized degree to work as a business analyst. Certifications are great, but your experience is really what's going to help you, because companies want people who already have experience solving problems, have those leadership skills, understand how to manage change, how to manage people. Yes, we will still get requirements, no doubt, but the role of the business analyst, as I see it now, it keeps developing and morphing into so many things. There's product, there's project, there's software, right? There's data, there's cybersecurity, there's machine learning, there's AI, there's intelligence. So there's so many aspects to business analysis. Back then, like you said, 5, 8, 10 years ago, it was a generalist role whereby you just do one thing. But now we're seeing a lot of specialization. Even just having experience in a domain, right? Banking, healthcare, oil and gas, all of that, you can leverage that experience. Or having experience with a software, Salesforce, ServiceNow, SAP. We see that. So within business analysis is first having that mindset of, providing value, leveraging your skills and your experience, I would say, and then top it up with certifications, right? So business analysis certifications, like the CBA, the ECBA, the CCBA, agile certifications, scrum, safe, agile mastery certifications, process improvement like lean, Six Sigma, those are really great to have, so that's what I'll recommend. And then of course, when you're moving into the career as well, you want to make sure that you connect with people who are already in the career to learn from their own experiences and how you can tap into that.
Okay. That's really, really good. So what you said about, leveraging the skills you already have. So for example, if like I'm an HR representative, I haven't done anything business analysis, I just want to, get into the field.
Yeah.
How do I make that transition? Because what most people want to do is just, push all that HR aside and then start afresh. So, what do you advise for someone like that? Especially when you say you can leverage the skills you already have.
Yeah. Well, I talk about this all the time. Like, the goal you have is actually the experience. For that person who has HR experience, for example, right, you already understand how HR works. You understand the processes within HR. You understand the solutions and the systems that are being used. It is Workday, PeopleSoft, Oracle, all of that. You understand that. You understand how companies struggle. When people are trying to land jobs, I tell them and I try to make them understand that you're there to solve a problem. So if you already have HR experience, what are the common challenges that businesses have within HR? Is it recruitment? Is it retention? Right? Is it employee engagement? Right? Is it employee satisfaction? What are the typical challenges that they have? Is it adoption of digital technology within HR? Is it HR processes? So what are the strengths that you have? If you've been able to help your company do that already, then you've been practicing business analysis. basically. So you can leverage your HR experience and your HR knowledge to work as an HR business analyst,
Oh,
right? So because they're actually specialized careers like that. Supply chain business analyst, HR business analyst,
oh wow.
banking business analyst. Yeah, absolutely. You're surprised?
I am, because honestly, when I was a business analyst, it was just go to the people, gather the information, be the liaison between the developers and then the internal business, stakeholders.
Yeah.
So that's all
Yeah.
it was. But now it's so like API, all this, all of that. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As a business analyst today, you have to understand technology,
yeah,
understand how technology works because you're an advisor to the business and you have to understand what the technology teams are also saying,
yeah.
right? So, yeah, don't ever discount your experience.
Okay.
I talk with this all the time. And even when I, host training sessions, I share my own journey and the things I did as an accountant, right? So, I'll tell you this, working as an accountant in these different companies, I was still doing business analysis things. Like, for example, one of the first few companies I worked at, they didn't have an accounting system. So I worked with the technology team and our accounting team to, implement our accounting system. And then we used Sage Peachtree. That's what we used for our accounting solution. We automated our invoicing, our vendor assessment and bidding process, right? We set up a payroll management system because at that time they didn't have any payroll management system. So we set up a payroll management system as well and got that, integrated with the other systems that we had. We had to relocate our offices. We had to also find ways to, improve, employee experience.
Right.
So I was involved in all of these things and just being able to leverage all of those experiences and those initiatives I was a part of. That's business analysis.
Now, now I understand it better because you've given, the example you gave makes it very clear. Because accountant, but you help them to like, in quotes, gather the requirements, and you were even providing some of the requirements here because you use them eventually. So it makes a lot of sense. So for someone like that is moving from like HR to or accounting or whatever to business analysis, like on their resume, do you like ask them to just put a slash? Whatever so like for you, was it accounting / business analyst, or how did you put that role? Because HR representatives, when you look at your resume, they have like thousands to look at. Look at the role, like, does this match what I need? If not, so you advise in that kind of situation.
Absolutely. So these are the things I recommend. First of all, when you're trying to find a role, your LinkedIn headline or even your resume title, if you have the job title and you want to put the title that you're looking for. So, a human resources, or HR business analyst, for example, you want to put that there as your title. And then your professional summary, you want to make sure that you're touching on the key skills you have, the typical pain points that you solve, your areas of expertise. And then under your experience section, I definitely recommend that you put there HR business analyst, right? HR-business analyst, right? And then what you do is, after putting your title, you want to make sure that you're actually highlighting key business outcomes that you help the business to achieve. So you're not just going through all your daily responsibilities. You're focusing on, how you help the company to increase retention rates, right? How you help the company to improve employee satisfaction by, moving it from maybe 40% to 80%. How you help the company to save on their hiring costs. So things like that are the things that actually, hit the bottom line of the business and affect the business, basically giving value back to the business. That's what you do as a business analyst. Or maybe, when you are the company, they implemented Workday, as their full recruiting solution software. Talk about that, right? So highlight those things that a business analyst will typically do. Extract that from your experience and highlight that on your resume.
Yeah, okay, that's really good. Thank you.
Sure.
About someone with zero experience, how do you advise them to start?
So when people say they have zero experience, I actually say I doubt that, right? Because
so imagine you just left school.
Even if you just left school, you might have done like an internship or you might have volunteered, right? So if you're even if you're moving into that entry level role, the hiring manager wants to see some level of leadership, right? How you work with people. So if you've done any internships, or, you have volunteered, maybe you joined your student body. For example, I was mentoring someone in University of Huddersfield in the UK, and, she was the, she was this leader for, they called, I think it's like a welcome services for like, maybe like when African students come into the university or something like that. Right. So she was leading that, and she brought up new initiatives. They now have a welcome desk. They now have an automated portal where people, even before they come into the university, they can actually sign up and connect with themselves. So she brought up all of these initiatives, and she kept saying she didn't have any experience. And I started asking her, okay, what are the things you're volunteering to do right now in school?
Okay.
So I actually shared with her that, do you know that all of these initiatives that you have actually helped the school to achieve, when you leave, these things remain there. Yeah. So this is your experience, and these are the things that you can put on your resume to say, even during my time studying my MBA at University of Huddersfield, these are the things I did to support the vision of the university.
Okay. Yeah.
So people need to stop discounting experience that maybe because I didn't have a big title or I wasn't paid, or things like that.
Yeah. Someone asked a question about I'm in school studying business analysis, but how do I get an entry-level BA job without experience? I think it's still kind of similar to what you said.
Yes, very, very similar, right? Yeah. So, leverage your experience before you got into school. If you're a master's student, if you're a business, if you're studying for your first degree, the volunteering experience that you have, internships, use that. That is still valuable.
Okay.
And if you don't have any right now, take this opportunity now to actually raise up your hand, find ways that you can volunteer. Volunteering is the fastest way to gain experience. That's what I did when I came into Canada. I started volunteering the week I entered into Canada, and I put that on my resume.
Yeah. So now you've moved from Nigeria to Canada. I like that you raised that. How was it like for you? Was it easy just getting a BA job? Or what was your journey like? What did you have to do anything first before you eventually got what you wanted? Yeah, Yeah. Done it like in Canada, yeah.
So I landed a job, in like 2 weeks of getting here, but I did face a lot of rejections. No Canadian experience. We found someone better, someone with more experience and all of that. But I think one of the things that really helped me to still land the job faster, even though I faced those initial challenges, was really preparing before I came. Right. Yeah. So immediately I got my visa, and I knew that this was happening.
Okay.
Yes, I already, had business analyst experience in Nigeria. I had certifications, but I wanted to make sure that what I had was going to match what the employers were looking for, because I knew that I was coming from Nigeria. And to be honest, I didn't know what life was like here. So I started connecting with business analysts on LinkedIn. Like I was connecting with all of them, asking them questions. I started being more involved in the IBA events. I started reading more blogs, taking online courses. And then something that I also did was going to Indeed and looking at business analysis jobs, right?
Description.
And just looking at my own resume and saying, okay, what's the gap? Like, what are the things I have? What are the things I don't have? And to be honest, I was very bold in looking at the jobs that, had like 6-figure salaries.
Who doesn't
I'm like, that's the one I want. And then I'll go and I'll look at all the things that I didn't have. And then I'll see, okay, how can I actually take this course? How can I learn this? How can I, to get the learning, to put this on my resume and say, I also have this. So I did my possible best to match what hiring managers were looking for, connected with people, learn from their experiences, right? Ask them questions. How did you do it? How are you in this role?
Yeah.
Based off of your interview, what are some things that, hiring managers look out for? In your day-to-day role right now, what do you do? And how are you successful? So I learned all of that from people as well. Taking all of that knowledge plus my existing experience definitely helped me to get here and just be prepared. Because I started applying for jobs, immediately I got my visa. And then by the time I landed, I already had interviews. So even though I had those rejections, I was doing multiple interviews back to back. So, offers came from doing all of that. So I really recommend that other people that want to do that, take those steps too.
Okay. That's really good. It's good to hear. Someone asked a question about what's the demand like for business analysts in Canada? That's the first question. Yeah.
The demand. Oh, there's definitely a huge demand for business analysts in Canada. If you go on LinkedIn right now, even Indeed, and you just search business analysts in Canada, you'll see thousands of job opportunities that were posted in the last month. in terms of, you know, job opportunities in Canada for business analysts, the businesses here in Canada, they're really, really trying to carry out a lot of digital transformation. They're trying to integrate technology a lot into their business. They're trying to automate things. The businesses here are really, really trying to match up to, you know, the other countries that are way, way ahead in terms of technology. So they're trying to do things, even with the small companies too, the startups too. They're hiring business analysts, product managers. Every company is trying to have that online presence. They're trying to gain their market share. So we would always have that demand for business analysts. But something I want to note is that when you're searching for business analyst roles, don't just look for business analyst titles, right? There are over 800 titles for business analysts.
Oh, yeah.
There are over 800 titles for business analysts. So don't just look for only business analysts. Search with keywords. When you search with some certain keywords, you'll be surprised what will come up. And, you know, I do that as well when I go on in there. I use certain keywords and I use business analysts, and I find, you know, other roles come up without having that title. For example, customer experience analyst, right? So someone who has experience in, customer service, customer experience, easily transition into that. Right. You know, if you've been using the CRM in your role, there's, you know, CRM consultant, there's CRM analyst. So there's so many titles for business analysts. So look at your resume. What are the key skills that you have? And they put that in the job board, the skills and the title. You'll be surprised how many roles will come out.
Wow. That's really, really good. It seems like there are so many opportunities.
So many.
Yeah, for business analysts. And it's also true because when you hear people transitioning to tech, business analysis is always like one of the first things.
I think it's the there's such a low barrier you know, level entry compared to so many other ways to get into tech. Maybe UI UX, you have to go and learn Figma and design and all of that. Software development, you have to go and learn how to code and all. But with business analysis, like, it's the barrier is so low, like, you know, with little or no experience, you can, right? With any experience, you can get in. So you're right about that. When people are trying to transition into tech, I told them, like, look for roles in, you know, business analysis, projects. You know, business analysis and project is really easy to get into those roles without a lot of experience. So many transferable skills that you can use in business analysis and projects.
Okay. So is it still possible nowadays to get a business analyst role without any technical knowledge? You know, like I said, when I was doing business analysis, it was more of requirement gathering. Is it still possible now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not more of requirement gathering anymore, but you can definitely still get business analyst roles that doesn't require technical skills, right? You know, for example, you know, process analyst, like being a process analyst, you know, is more about looking at the current process and improving it, to taking it to the future where we want to be, right? The process analysis, you know, project management, scrum mastery, products, design thinking, you know, customer experience, you know, those roles, you know, business analysis roles that, you know, surround that don't need you to have technical skills, right? And then roles that are also domain focused, HR, banking, oil and gas, healthcare. They don't need you to have technical skills at all. But there are some business analyst roles, like business systems analyst roles, data analysts, business intelligence analysts, cybersecurity analysts. You know, those kinds of roles require you to have some technical skills.
Okay. The follow-up question is also, is it a good idea to become like a Salesforce business analyst? I think she's trying to ask, like, maybe.
For me, as a business analyst, I don't tie myself to software. Softwares will come and go, they would upgrade, and you have to, you have to relearn. I don't tie myself to softwares. I understand how technology works. I know what software works for companies, you know, for helping them with their software, with their sales, you know, lead generation and sales management processes. If you want to, master Salesforce and get certified in Salesforce, you can. But I definitely recommend becoming a business analyst first, getting the business analysis skills, and then learning software. What I find a lot of people is that they feel like if I go and take the software and the Salesforce certification and become an admin, I'll get a business analyst job. That's not how it works. Right? Because as an administrator, your role is different from a business analyst. Anyone I don't have a Salesforce certification, but I can land a job as a Salesforce business analyst because I already have business analyst experience. All I need to do is review and understand how Salesforce works and tie that to my experience. But if you don't have business analyst experience and you go and take a Salesforce certification, how do you tie that in?
Exactly.
So if you already have business analyst experience and you know and understand how to implement solutions, then you can go and learn Salesforce and become a Salesforce business analyst and build your career there because it's a specialized career path.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that response. It says, someone says, do you have a suggestion on where to volunteer for a start in Canada?
I would say nonprofits, right? A lot of nonprofits are always looking for volunteers. Reach out to nonprofits in your area. The IIBA as well. They're always looking for volunteers. IIBA, PMI, all nonprofits around you. You can start from there. And then small businesses. This is something that a lot of people, if you're looking to volunteer, you're looking to give your time without being paid for it. Look out for small businesses around you too, that don't have the capacity to hire, but they also need business analysis. Everyone needs business analysis. Yeah. So you can actually volunteer with small businesses as well, nonprofits, and of course, use that experience, to land a better job.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to ask also as regards thriving as a new business analyst, because, now I've gotten the business analyst role, and first of all, fear, technical jargons, you're like scared. What are they saying? I don't understand. And I'm supposed to be the one gathering the requirements as a user. I want to do this. What am I doing? How do you overcome that fear? What materials do you need to do? What did you do personally to overcome that fear? Because it is real.
It is.
I've also seen people get fired because they weren't just able to hop over that stage. Yeah. So what do you advise, and what do you advise people can do to overcome that? Yeah.
Absolutely. So even though you do have the skills and experience that you've gathered over the years, you still need business analysis knowledge, right? There's frameworks within business analysis, there's tasks and there's techniques that are being used, right? So I definitely recommend getting training and coaching, right? I have gotten that. I still improve myself every year through personal development on frameworks and methodologies. Business analysis is so dynamic, right? Yeah. The way you did it in 2017 is not the way it's done now. That's why you're surprised with how
exactly
they are so good. Like they're like gurus in technologies because of how business analysis is so dynamic, right? I don't write API calls or the codes or anything, but I understand how APIs work. Right? I understand, how the code works, right? I can look at code and tell you that the code is wrong, and I can tell you what's wrong there. I don't write code, right? I can go into databases and, of course, sort through the tables, get the data that I need, and, use that data to make informed decisions. As a business analyst, you need to understand how those things work. You don't need to be the master of technology, but you need to know technology. So you cannot put away the learning and the training and the coaching.
Okay.
And that's why we founded Business Analysis School, because a lot of people thought, okay, if I get certification, I can just get a business analyst job. But a lot of people are having challenges with actually doing the role, because the business analyst role, actually, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. Right? There's a lot of weight on your shoulders as a business analyst. Right? So, yes, when you see, business analysts like myself or other experienced BAs, talk about the role with finance and how we work as business analysts, it looks so easy, but it's a lot of years of work and learning and practice. So you have to master your skill, and you master your skill with learning. So I highly recommend training, coaching, certifications inclusive. When you do that, you master it. You understand the jargons, you understand the flow, how it works day to day, what's required of you. You know what to do at every point in time, at the beginning of the project, at the middle, at the end. You know how to handle those typical challenges, how to manage change, all of those things you learn. And then when you're in the role, it's easy for you to say, okay, I know what to do right now. You know what technique you can use at every point in time. And when they're throwing those jargons at you, they expect you to know it, right? So you also can relate with them and understand. Trust me, no matter, what organization or what industry you're in, you must understand business and technology. That's how you can actually succeed.
Yeah. So I also wanted to ask, are there any free materials online, or maybe someone that just I mean, maybe they actually just, move from Nigeria to Canada, paid a lot of money to get the certification. Now they even want to rest a little bit before, hiring a coach or, someone to any place they can look out for free materials or podcasts or news.
IIBA. They should join the IIBA first. They should join as members. Join the IIBA. When you join the IIBA globally, you get connected to a chapter near you. So you join a chapter. The IIBA has a knowledge base with over 10,000 books. They have a YouTube channel. They're starting a podcast now. They have a live stream every week. There's a knowledge base. There's a career center. Right now, there are over 8,000 jobs on the IIBA website. Right? There's free webinars that you can take as a business analyst. They also have the learning center on the website that has books, that has videos, that has career coaches giving you career insights. There's recruiters there. There's so much opportunities within the IIBA in itself to get started. So if you wanted to get started, I would advise you that you go on the IIBA website, become a member, and access all of these benefits. I think for a year is $130 or something, $135, and you have access to all of this knowledge, and that's a great place to start.
Well, that's good. Thank you for sharing.
For sure.
Yeah. So the next question is, I've noticed that a lot of BA roles requirements here in the US need Tableau, Power BI skills. I think, what's the question? Is this, probably the person's trying to ask, like, do I have to?
I get that question. I get it. So one thing that people need to also understand is business analysts at company A can be doing something very different from business analysts at company B. Business analysts at Google, the title business analyst, when you see a Google, when you see a Google job advert, business analyst, that is actually a data analyst role. So you're required to have like SQL, Power BI, Tableau, and even Python skills. So that is why when you're looking at business analyst roles, you have to look at the job description and really understand, what is required. Do I have the skills required? If I do have the skills, yes, I will apply. So SQL, Tableau, Power BI, I definitely recommend that as business analysts that you learn and understand how it works, because you might be in a business analyst role and you're in a company that doesn't have a data analyst or a database admin. What would you do? You would need to actually use data for your work. So at least you can write a few queries, get the data that you need. You can also, export the data into any visualization tool, right? Because because you might work at a company that doesn't have a data analyst, right? Or you can really just focus your job search on roles that are more of process, process and people focused. Then you can focus on that. But if you're looking at a role that would have a bit of tech side to it, then I highly recommend you have at least basic SQL to at least be able to get your data that you need.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think business analysis has become even more difficult. I would have thought this. Anyways, to the next question. I am ECBA trained and I have a few months experience as an ITBA. Is it possible to get remote jobs as a business analyst in Canada? I am in Nigeria.
So you're ECBA trained. Do you have your certification? You have some experience as an ITBA. Is it possible to get remote jobs? I mean, you should try your luck and see if you can. With Canadian companies, it's not as easy to land remote jobs from Nigeria. The time difference, the taxes, and all of that. I see it's easier in like the UK and Europe, and with the time zones as well, it's even a lot more easier. Apply and see if you can. Try your luck, shoot your shot, right? But it's not as easy to get remote jobs from Nigeria. In Canada, if you want to come to Canada, then you can also apply, and see if you can get approved to come to Canada.
Yeah. So I think, long story, just try. Yeah, there's so many people working from Nigeria now.
Yeah.
So another question is, how would one overcome the fear of changing career?
How would one overcome the fear of changing career? Well, there'll always be that fear, right? And that's why, like having mentorship is important. So for me, when I wanted to make my career change, I looked for people who had done exactly the same thing. People who had moved from, accounting and finance careers into, business analysis or even tech roles. Those are the people that I decided to use as my own mentors because they understood the journey.
True.
They knew how it worked.
Yeah.
So definitely find those people who have made the exact move that you want to make. Trust me, you'll find them. Go on LinkedIn, do your LinkedIn search very well. Be nice and polite, reach out and don't just ask for help just like that. Build that relationship and, find how, you can learn from them. That's really important. And then build your confidence, right? I tell some people this, if you have provided value at company A, you can do that at company B, regardless of the experience, regardless of the job title that you've had, right? Every company, all has similar goals. They want to, increase their profits. They want to reduce costs. They want to hire. They want to, increase their customer base. They want to become globally recognized. Every company has all of these typical goals that they have. So if you help the company do it before, you can do it again, right? You can definitely do it again. So, be confident in your skills, be confident in the fact that you can deliver value. And then another thing that also helps build your confidence is having knowledge in that new career. So if it was business analysis, for example, where you do have the knowledge, maybe you also certified, that gives you some level of confidence. Oh yes, I've done it, right? I took an intensive coaching program. I've done all of this. I've worked on requirements. I write user stories. I've done use cases. I've used Jira. I've used Visio. I've done all of this, right? And also, you have that knowledge, and then maybe you've taken some certifications too. Okay. So you understand the methodologies and the framework. So nothing is basically new to you when you get started. And, trust me, no matter how much of experience that you have, you will still get those initial jitters, right? That first day, even if you've been doing it for 10 years, that first day or first week, you will still have the initial jitters, right? But what I tell people is that, when you get into a new company, right, your training and orientation is the time for you to ask questions, learn about their processes, their systems, look at, their org charts, understand how things work, review existing documentation. So, just get yourself settled in. And having a community is really great, or someone that you can tap, right? To ask those questions. So definitely don't try to do it alone. Find someone that can be your support and guide through those initial, first few months in your new role.
Yeah, yeah. And even like when you're trying to switch, like what you said about LinkedIn, honestly, it's a very good, very good platform. Because for me, it's just one person answers. So I send a lot of connection requests.
Me too. Yeah. Somebody replied me just this year after like 5 seasons. I'm like, seriously? But yeah, as many people as possible, 1 or 2 will respond to you and give you a listening ear.
Yes. So it's a good place to start from.
Of course.
Do I need to learn code to be a business?
No, you don't need to learn code. You don't need to learn code to be a business analyst at all.
Okay. Are there even, someone was asking a question about junior roles, but are they junior roles? It's just...
There are junior roles. There are junior business analyst roles. There are. Yeah.
Because I hardly, like for Scrum Masters, I hardly see like junior Scrum Master. I'm like...
There are, but they're not a lot. It typically starts from intermediate to senior roles for business analysts, right? Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for all the knowledge that you're sharing. I think we just have 1 or 2 more questions. And during an interview for a BA role, do I need to answer questions using the technical BA terms? Yes.
No, you don't need to answer questions using technical BA terms if that's not required. Right? So when you're in an interview, you have looked at the job description and know what they're looking for. So if they have mentioned some tools in the job description, you want to also speak to the fact that you've used them. However, when it comes to business analysis interviews, the hiring manager is really looking for the competencies of a business analyst. That's what they're really looking for. In your experience, how you're able to solve problems, take on leadership, influence, how you're able to work with people, collaborate, how you're able to manage your time, how you're able to show leadership. Those are the things that hiring managers are looking for during the interview. And then, of course, if that role is a role that requires some knowledge of frameworks, maybe like Scrum, for example, you want to talk about the fact that you were in a Scrum team and, highlight the principles of Scrum and the, the ceremonies that happen during Scrum. So you want to be able to highlight that. But of course, if that role requires some, technical knowledge, you want to make sure that you highlight that. But not all roles. So, but focus on your core competences. That's really where the hiring manager would give you, those marks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Someone was asking a question talking about Scrum Master. Is this available in the UK?
Yes. Scrum Masters are everywhere. Business analysts are everywhere.
Yeah. So it's available in the UK. I even have colleagues that are Scrum Masters in the UK as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even in Nigeria, when people all keep saying they're looking for jobs abroad, and then I ask them, have you even worked as a business analyst? Do you even have experience in Nigeria? If I didn't have experience in Nigeria, there's no way I would have landed a job in Canada. So at least even start there. There are BA roles in Nigeria, there are Scrum Master roles in Nigeria, there are product owner, product manager roles in Nigeria, because we have a lot of technology companies springing up, fintech companies.
True.
So there's so many, and these companies are technology focused. They are building apps. They are building solutions. They are looking for people. So while you're trying to, find where you can make millions of dollars, start there, because that's the experience you're going to use to land jobs. People that are going to UK and all these places, is their Nigerian experience that they used.
True.
That's the truth.
That's very true. Do you need like an agile or Scrum certification as a business analyst?
I recommend it because 89% of companies are using Scrum or SAFe frameworks, and business analysts who do have agile knowledge and certifications earn more than those who do not. It's definitely a plus right now. So like with Business Analyst School, all our students get Scrum Master certified or Product Owner certified, within the program. I highly recommend it. Okay. I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say are the basics? For example, myself, I'm moving to business analysis. What would you say, like, at least have these things? What can you pinpoint are the necessary skills or basic skills required before getting things? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So when we talk about skills, I want to just make this clear that you can't land a business analyst role without a certification. If you do have experience, and that's why I focus on, leveraging your experience. If you do have experience, and then within the experience you have, you can highlight skills like, great communication skills, problem-solving skills, business knowledge and business acumen, stakeholder engagement, facilitation skills, leadership skills. These are, core skills that you need to have to showcase business analysis skills and land the job before you now add anything else, like maybe technical skills or, even having any experience. Okay, so those are very vital.
Soft skills in terms of like maybe certifications and all of that. What do you think is a basic, like, have these basic ones and then can add on later?
The basic one would be the business analysis certification, right? So with the IIBA, there are 3 core certifications that you can take. Okay. There's the ECBA, which is entry level. Okay. So that's 0 to 1 year of experience. Okay. There is the capability level, just 2 to 3 years of experience. You can take the CCBA, and then 5 years or more of experience, you can take the CPAP certification. So at least have the business analysis certification first, and then you can now take on, other certifications in methodologies, maybe SAFe, Scrum, Six Sigma, Lean, and the rest of them. Yeah.
Okay. Someone asked a question that it seems the BA is getting highly competitive out here. I have been sending out resumes on different job boards out in the last 2 months. That any help?
Of course, it is getting competitive because a lot of people have identified it as, that an easier way to get into tech. Yeah. There is a high demand, but of course, companies are willing to pay well for business analysts, but of course, they want people who have relevant knowledge and skills. So, if you're not landing those jobs, then definitely your resume definitely doesn't speak to business analysis, knowledge, skills, and experience. And you want to make sure that you probably have that reviewed. If you're getting interviews, then that means you don't have the knowledge, right? Because you're not able to speak to your experience and the skills and what companies are looking for. It is competitive, but people are still landing roles, right? So maybe there's just some work that you need to do to make sure that you are more competitive too. And also make sure that you're learning new things. So do
Yeah.
you have business analysis knowledge, or maybe you got certification, or even just the training? Do you understand how Agile, Scrum, Six Sigma works? Do you also understand frameworks and the techniques used, and then the tools that are used within those techniques? Do you understand them, and can you actually speak to them? Right? Because it's one thing to put something on your resume, it's another thing to be able to speak to it. And the truth is, an experienced hiring manager, and you also are a hiring manager, you can tell that, this person is just, this person just, when I interview people and I'm like, no, this person just put together a resume, has no knowledge. So you want to make sure you do have that knowledge. It is competitive. And I mean, it's worth it to put in that work, right?
Yes. So before I ask you to, give us a lot more information about the business analysis school, I wanted to ask, what are the common mistakes you see that people make based on your experience, especially, when they just move to Canada, or like when they're trying to get like a business analysis role? Yeah.
Common mistakes that people make.
Yeah.
One, they discount their experience. A lot of times when I speak to people and, I ask them, okay, so what have you done? They say, I don't have any experience.
Yes.
So I say, okay, just tell me everything you've done since you graduated. And they start telling me everything they've done. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is what you did here. This is business analysis. This is what you did. This is business analysis, right? Because you worked, in a call center and doing customer experience doesn't mean you can't translate that experience, right? The fact that you worked, in healthcare doesn't mean you can't translate that to healthcare. Worked with the public sector doesn't mean you can't translate that. So people don't really understand that they can leverage their experience, and they feel like they're starting from zero. Meanwhile, companies are looking for experience. So leveraging your experience is one. Second is, people have that fear that, they need to have, master's degree or an MBA or learn technical skills or coding skills, and they don't need any of that, right? Your ability to help companies to solve problems, your ability to help companies to identify the needs, your ability to collaborate with the stakeholders and ensure you deliver value is what companies are looking for. Mm-hmm. Another mistake that people make is they also go and bag so many certifications. I remember somebody reached out to me and the person copied someone's LinkedIn profile and said, how can I get all of these letters behind my name? And I said, you don't need all these letters behind your name, right? So you don't have to have multiple certifications to land the job, right? You can start with what you have. What you have is still valuable. And that's what a lot of people, they want to copy what other people have. But my experience went from yours. You have your own, skills that you've mastered. You have your own unique experiences. You have your own unique skills that would actually get you hired before me. Same with me, that would actually get me hired before you. So leverage that as well. And then, also trying to do it alone. Don't do it alone, right? Find support, find help, learn from other people. That's the fastest way to actually, be able to learn. And then another thing I would say is, people give up very easily, right? You apply to one or two jobs and, you don't hear back, or you get rejected, and you just say, you know what, it's too competitive, I can't do it, it's saturated. I'm like, seriously? People are landing multiple offers, right? So, don't give up. And then keep improving yourself, keep learning, right? Don't feel like, I took a training, years ago. Things are different. If you took a training in Nigeria, came to Canada, the process here is different. Companies, what they're looking for is different. So you want to make sure that you adapt, right? And, I want to highlight this as well for the immigrant. The business analysis role, is not about the job title. So a business analyst is anyone who's carrying out business analysis tasks, techniques, regardless of your title or your role. So your title might have been something else in your home country. And then you come here and you're looking for a job title that is business analyst, but your resume and LinkedIn say something different. There wouldn't be any correlation at all. So you want to make sure that you match what you have done, right, with what companies are looking for. Meet them where they are in terms of what they're looking for. So that's something that, people need to understand, when they're looking for these opportunities, because sometimes they just leave their resume the same way it was, maybe like from Nigeria, and they're applying and they're not hearing back. But the resume doesn't actually fit the Canadian style, or it doesn't even match in any way. Like the question you're asking about the HR person, for example,
yeah.
right? So you can the person could have put there maybe HR acquisition specialist or HR business partner, for example, right? And then you're looking for business analyst roles, right? But you could have put HR business analyst.
True.
Then you get identified as a business analyst.
Okay, that's good. And what's the, career path for like a business analyst? Like after your from business analyst, what do you think, different roles that you can transition into?
Yeah, there are so many roles you can transition into from business analysis, and that's what I love about it, right? So if we look at process, right? You can be a process analyst, a process manager, a process architect, right? If we look at agile, you can be an agile business analyst, digital business analyst. You can be a product owner, a product manager. You can be a release train engineer. If you look at Scrum, you can be a Scrum master, product owner, product manager, technical lead, delivery manager. All of these are transferable from business analysis. If we look at customer experience, you can be CRM consultant, CRM analyst, customer experience analyst.
Wow.
Solutions consultant, solutions analyst, requirement analyst as well, right? So if you look at the technical side of things, data, you can be a business data analyst, data specialist. You can be a data senior data analyst. So within data analysis as well. Intelligence, you can be a business intelligence analyst, senior business intelligence analyst. You can be a business intelligence developer as well. AI and all of that. You can be a SaaS business analyst. You can also be an applications development business analyst. Cybersecurity, you can be a cybersecurity analyst, network solutions analyst as well. And then within I'm trying to think of another path as well. So also within the levels of business analysis, right? And that's something that people need to understand, is that as BAs, we work across different levels. Yeah. There's a strategic BA that does more of management consulting, strategic business analysis. You're working with the senior level management on long-term goals and plans. Okay. That person isn't doing, day-to-day things like maybe, process. Exactly. Right. So you can leverage that experience too if you've always done work in the strategic level. Okay. And then in the tactical level, you can leverage your domain experience. For example, HR, banking, supply chain, sales. You can leverage that experience. Business relationship management too as well. And then on the operational level, if you've always been an operations person day to day, so things like training, technical writing, customer service and customer experience, you can leverage all of that. Process analysis, process management. These are the things that you can, the ways that you can actually channel your career as a business analyst. So there's just so many. I told you there are 800 titles for business analysts, over 800 titles. Wow. Right. So there's so many ways that you can, decide to just channel your career. And, there's no one size fits all. No. And that's why I tell people all the time that when you go on YouTube and somebody tells you, I landed a certificate job, this is what I did, and you want to now copy that person's path, you can't. Maybe that person went to take a Java boot camp or a whatever boot camp and then landed a technical bureau, and that person is telling you to go and learn Java, right? That doesn't make sense. So that person, already has taken his, data analytics boot camp and knows SQL and Python, and then you feel like, you have to learn Python to be a data analyst. You don't. You can choose your own path and leverage your own experience and just thrive there.
Wow. That's, really good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. For sure. I feel like I have what I need to become a business analyst. Yeah. It's really amazing what you're doing. Well done.
Thank you.
So can you tell us about the Business Analysis School? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are an edtech learning, online learning, company. We provide business analysis, agile project management, and product management, courses, certifications, and coaching programs. We provide this globally through virtual classes, all over the world. We help professionals who want to learn how to leverage their skills and experience to work within, the tech space or work within that vertical leveraging business analysis skills. We understand that everyone has performed business analysis, throughout their careers. So we help them to leverage that. And we do it through 3 ways. The first way is through the training.
Yeah.
Right. So the training and the knowledge, understanding how to leverage your experience, understanding how to also think like a business analyst, learning the frameworks, within business analysis, and preparing for the certification within business analysis. So if you ever wanted to get certified, you already have the training and the knowledge that we provide to you. We are an IIB endorsed education provider. So all our trainings give you the PD hours. So the hours to get certified. And then we also provide the practical training. So yes, you will learn the frameworks, but the frameworks basically just tell you this is what you do. But how do you do it? What do you use to do it? So within our coaching programs, we learn those typical day-to-day tools that BAs use. So we cover data analysis, SQL, Excel, Tableau, process management. So doing BPMN, process analysis, cover project management and software development, understanding how APIs work. I knew you laugh at that. Agile and Scrum, how to write user stories, how to write use cases, how to use Jira and other tools that BAs use, how to create wireframes and prototypes too as well. So understanding how design works too. So learning all of that and being very well-rounded for the business analysis career, and having access to that career coaching. So you learn all of this, and then you get to now build out your resume that actually matches business analysis, what business analysis companies and hiring managers are looking for. Still leveraging your experience, but understanding now how to use your experience, your LinkedIn profile, and then preparing for those interviews to land those jobs. And then also, that community of business analysis professionals. This week was Business Analysis Day and Business Analysis Week. So if you had seen on my page, we're celebrating BAs from all over the world. And we can't even celebrate all of them because so many thousands of people have passed through our school.
It's not possible.
So we just, handpicked people from different parts of the world to actually highlight that business analysis is a global career, and we have that community as well of BAs from different parts of the world. So, that's what we do with the business analysis school, and basically just supporting you through that journey and learning from myself and the team of coaches who have also transitioned. So all the people in our school have all made that career transition and they understand how it works. So you're basically learning from people who have made those same mistakes, and you have the right guidance you need.
Wow. That's really, 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 really good. I have so many questions, even me personally. But aside as generally, I see you're doing a lot of things. I'm really inspired.
Thank you.
I mean, how is everything? How has the journey been for you? What are just general lessons you've learned? How you're building your confidence, being able to travel and be like the keynote speaker? Like, how is it for you? Yeah.
I definitely would say that, it wasn't what I, expected. Like that wasn't the plan, coming here. But I guess it was really just taking up that challenge of, when I first got here, I don't think I told them when I first got here. So I landed my job and I just started working. But within the immigrant space and all of those communities that we have, I'll keep sharing, job opportunities, and, I landed a job and everybody like, how, we've been here for so long, how are you doing it? And people are reaching out to me privately, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm working in a warehouse. I'm working in security. I'm doing this. I was a manager back home, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why is this happening? So I kept sharing like job opportunities, sharing tips. And then we now started doing like, info sessions and webinars and supporting people. And then doing mentorship sessions, and people started landing jobs, business analyst jobs, project manager jobs, blah, 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 leveraging their experience. And then, we're doing that for a while and doing all of the sessions. And, I got very busy because I started doing consulting as well. So I was traveling a lot and I didn't have the time. So I sort of started, referring people to other, training institutions and companies, like, okay, just go get training there. But they'll come back to me and be like, I didn't really get that value there. You were able to coach somebody within a couple of days and they landed a job. Like, I want to learn from you. Like, I would rather just pay for that knowledge and experience and that training. So I'm like, okay, this is, I don't know how this will work, but I'll find a way to do it. And we just got started, with a handful of people, and then we started, building it all to where we are today. But building that confidence really was, I think for me, it was just being able to see the possibility of when you see somebody that went from working a security job, right, or doing skip the dishes to now, becoming a senior business analyst, to becoming a manager, a director, it's mind blowing, like, how people's lives can transform within a matter of weeks because they're leveraging their experience. So for me, I think it just gave me that push that, speak more about this, share more about your knowledge, talk more about this career path, let people see that there's actually, a light at the end of the tunnel for them. Because I met people who were like at the verge of leaving Canada because they just felt like there was no hope for them. And I know, people who have had this terrible experience in their careers, but they were successful back home. Yeah. So for me, it was more like a challenge to help more people just learn more about this career path and also just showcase that representation. Because the truth is, when I got started, there was nobody like me, like a Black woman at all, that was in this career path, learning from, white people or people that were maybe Asian, for example. But me being there and, being able to put together this program and this school is understanding people's, experiences. When somebody says, oh, this is what I did, this is where I worked, I'm like, okay, you worked at this company. I understand how this works, based on what you did in Nigeria, this is how you can translate it. So now being that representation for people, and speaking up for immigrants too, and saying, hey, immigrants have experience. They can work in these roles. They give them a chance. Trust me, you'll never regret it. And then when I worked in, companies that I worked at, they kept reaching out to me. When I refer people, they'd be like, we're hiring, send us people. We like the people that you send to us. Oh, wow. Because we have great work ethic, right? We do have great work ethic. And and, when it comes to getting the work done, we do get the work done. Yeah. That's very... So, it just made me, become, even more dogged on championing this. Yes. Right. And, just helped me build my confidence along the way. And, here we are now. So I'm so happy that, the work we're doing is recognized for sure. Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really good. One last, I'm not going to ask any question. I don't want you to go. Yeah. One last question, because I wrote it down and I kind of skipped. I forgot about it. How do you structure your resume for a business analyst? This is the last question I'm asking. How do you structure your resume? Yeah. Okay, so for your resume, I think I kind of covered this in another question, but I'll now provide that here. Yeah. So how do you structure your resume? So for a business analyst resume, I want to see your professional summary, which is a summary that highlights your career journey. A couple of sentences, maybe 4 or 5 sentences, highlighting your, your career experience, what you've done, and, the key skills that you have, the verticals you've worked in, maybe industries, and, why you're a good fit for that role. And then after that, I want to just see your experience, right? So starting with your most recent experience, highlighting that to at least the last 10 years of your career. You don't need to put things that are, after 10 years, if you have more than 10 years of experience. So starting with your most recent experience, highlights the job title, the period you've worked, highlights your accomplishments, what you have accomplished, right? And then don't just give bland, I documented requirements, I communicated with stakeholders. Like when I see that, I'm just like, you want to make sure that you're focusing on core accomplishment. What does a business analyst accomplish? How does a business analyst help companies meet their goals? And talk about that, make sure you use metrics, right? Yeah. Use metrics in highlighting what you've accomplished. So highlight your experience, and then highlight your education, certifications, and then highlight the core skills that you have. So when you think about core skills, you're not just going to throw everything on your resume. What are the core skills that BAs need to have? And we've talked about that, earlier. So highlight that. And then if there are certain skills that are required for the roles you're looking for, so maybe it was data, then you want to put SQL, Tableau, all of that. If it was... Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now. If it was an agile focused role or Scrum, you want to, include Jira, Confluence, Trello, all of that. So make sure you just highlight all of those skills, and then relevant education, right? So don't, highlight all of the education or certificates you have that are not relevant. Highlight relevant certification and experience. Basically, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful. It was really, really nice speaking with you. I know
Yeah.
one day, Calgary, I'll probably reach out to you because I think I have lots and lots of questions. I don't even want
Yeah.
you to. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm going to save the live. I'll share it with you as well.
For
I'll
sure. Yeah. Use a collab for me. Yeah. And I'll just add it to my page.
okay. I'll also have you on my YouTube channel. So check that
Fantastic.
and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks. Have a good day. Thanks, Eno. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.